Taking Stock with Pimm Fox and Carol Masser. On demand via our Bloomberg Radio Plus app. Free for iPhone and Android devices.
Ben, I just want to say one word to you. Just one word.
Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, I am.
Plastics.
Exactly how do you mean?
There's a great future in plastics.
You got to know that line. Everybody knows it. It's an iconic line from The Graduate talking about the plastics business. And we have the perfect individual to talk about the plastics industry. John Rich is Chairman and Chief Executive Officer at Berry Plastics, and normally in Evansville, Indiana, but he joins us here in studio. Great to have you here on Taking Stock.
Thanks, Carol. Thanks, Pimm. Great to be here.
All right. Do people have a lot of fun with you being in the plastics business in the industry?
Oh, well, people certainly quote oftentimes the movie The Graduate there. We hear that a lot. The great thing is the line was true in the 60s, but it's just as true today. Still a great industry to be in.
And you've been in the industry for a long time. You go
my
back
whole
to
life.
GE, and so you've been. How has plastics evolved as an industry?
Plastics is the fastest growing substrate in the packaging space. Grows about twice as fast as glass, metal, and paper. And, as you walk down any grocery store aisle, just look at all the items that you see on the shelf that used to be in either a glass, metal, or a paper package, and today's in plastic. So the design features, the things you can do with plastic, you just can't do with any other substrate.
If we walk down the grocery aisle with you, will we ever get to the other end, or would you give a little dissertation on all the different plastics that are involved? Because, some of it is innovative, some of it is traditional. What's the history that goes behind all this stuff?
Well, of course, the history is that, first of all, people are looking for a package that improves the consumer's experience, right? So that's the number one design criteria.
What does that mean? Does that mean it's better for the environment, better for the consumer, better for the... What is it?
Well, the answer to those questions are all yes, right? First of all, is it easier to use, easier to handle? Does it keep the food safer? Does it keep it stable longer? Is it easier to dispense? Think about things like ketchup, mayonnaise, salad dressings, all used to be in glass bottles. They would break. They were heavy. They cost a lot of money. So packaging really offers the designer the flexibility of enhancing the consumer experience. The second thing you can do with plastics is you can really put terrific artwork and graphics on it to enhance our customer's brand image. Because at that moment of truth, the consumer's going to reach out, pick out a product, and if that package is talking out to them saying, hey, this is what you want to have. And the third thing you talked about, which is vitally important to our industry, is to make sure that our products are sensitive to the environment, are increasing the sustainability, using lower energy, reducing the carbon footprint. And the right thing there is recyclability.
And you've actually brought in a cup for Pimm and myself, and it's called the Versalite.
Yeah, this week we're really excited to roll out a great new product technology called Versalite for insulated packagings. That's keeping things that have to be hot, hot, or cold, cold. Maybe the best example of that is the one you have in your hand, which is the coffee cup. The coffee cup's been around for 100 years, and yet all those products that are available today don't do a great job in terms of keeping the coffee hot, keeping your hand cool.
Right.
But most importantly, today there's about 80 billion disposable coffee cups that end up in landfills, and we simply can do a better job of that. And so Versalite being 100% recyclable, the most recyclable product out there, is really going to help start to solve that problem.
How do you measure the cost of making something like this? Is it natural gas? Is there a feedstock that you have to deal with?
Well, the great thing about Versalite cups is that, compared to cups that are sold in premium coffee retailers today, the cost of a Versalite cup is going to be about the same, right? So that's the real key to being commercially successful. Have all those desirable features and being cost competitive.
Yeah, but how do you make something like this? To get the cup into the recycling cycle, you've got to make it in the first place, right? Plastics, the word means malleability, means moldable.
Right. So Versalite is made 100% of number 5 polypropylene. Today we're working with municipalities, waste handlers, recyclers like Preserve, who have a great Gimme 5 campaign for recycling. About 70% of U.S. communities have number 5 recycling today. New York City just implemented it this summer, so if you get a Versalite cup here in New York, you can put it right in your New York recycling.
Jonathan Rich joins us in the studio. We're talking about Versalite, a new type of packaging and a new type of plastic. For example, it is heat resistant to a certain extent. You can actually put it in a microwave and it's biodegradable.
Not biodegradable,
Not
but
yet?
completely recyclable.
Recyclable, I beg your pardon.
Recyclable. Completely recyclable. So here in New York City and in about 70% of the communities around the country, you can put that right in the recycling bin. It'll get separated, recycled, and come back to us again.
But what about people that say, you need to have something that's biodegradable because, plastic, it's not always going to be put back in the garbage and it's going to be around for a long time. We want sunlight to break it down.
By the way, we think that's a great goal, biodegradability. But the technology, especially for products that have to be hot, like really hot coffee, that technology is still years away.
Why is it years away?
Well, because today the products that are available tend to soften a lot when they have hot products in it, so they don't perform as well. But the real problem is cost. You got to get cost effectiveness there.
That's it. We could probably do it, but it would be expensive.
Look, I think people would be willing to pay more to get that, but today the amount more you'd have to be would be dramatic. So we were really encouraging those kinds of developments from the material suppliers. We look forward to those breakthroughs, and when they come, we'll be ready to make products out of them.
Do you also make things like drinking straws out of the same kind of basic material that you would use for these kinds of Versalite cups?
We don't make straws, but we make a lot of different plastic products. We mold those out of polyethylene and polypropylene. Today, those kinds of plastics have to come from oil, but one thing we're really excited about is the development of low-cost and readily available North American shale gas. Our raw materials can come from gas, and as that infrastructure and that investment goes in, it's going to be a tremendous benefit to Berry Plastics.
One last question, if I may, because when you came in, you were checking out our own Bloomberg cups, and you go to the bottom, you check it out. I mean, how competitive a space is this?
It's a very competitive space, very competitive space, and for us to be successful in this space, we got to be diligent every day to be cost competitive, to be efficient, but also to have that differentiated technology that's going to excite our customers and consumers.
I want to thank you very much for joining us. Jonathan Ritz, Chief Executive, Berry Plastics, giving us the lowdown on Versalite.
Thanks for having me.
Way of using a cup, recyclable. Well done.
You are listening to Taking Stock, and this is Bloomberg Radio.
Taking Stock, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. In New York on Bloomberg 1130. In Boston on 1200 AM and 94.5 FM HD2. Or on Sirius and XM Satellite Radio Channel 113. Copyright 2013 Bloomberg LP.